Hi there, everybody, and welcome back. I'm in the studio with some familiar faces for some of you, I'm sure. We have Jeremy and Shilpi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we are here to talk about Agent 365, I think. So, what is it, and what should we think about from an agent management perspective about what it is and why we should care? All the things, the who, what, why.
Well, agents are joining the workflows.
Yes.
And as they augment the workflows, you are going to want to really understand how to manage and get the right visibility and apply the right controls on these agents. You're going to want to give them access to apps, computers. They're going to work just like people, and you are going to want to not really reinvent the wheel on how you manage them. You would do them just like you manage your people resources today, your devices. And so for that, the ability to manage these agents, all from your familiar products like Microsoft Entra, Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Purview, right from within Microsoft 365 Admin Center, where you go and manage your people and devices. That's what we're doing for enabling Agent 365.
Yeah, so the security person in me thinks it's kind of like Entra, but for agents. I know we have something else for agents, but so what kind of information can an agent access to perform this sort of task? What are we?
Yeah, that's really about the entire process. If you think about, again, using the same infrastructure that we have for people's access to information, like you said with Entra, in terms of conditional access controls, for example, as they try to access resources in the work environment, all of those apply to agents too. So it's not like a black box that they're just connecting kind of to an API that you don't know what they're doing. You will see through WorkIQ as well. They can connect to things like SharePoint. You know, the agents themselves interop with the Office apps or Microsoft 365 apps, so they've got their own email accounts. They've got their own Teams accounts. They've got their own OneDrives. They can work on SharePoint. So, and the good news with that is you've got the full granular set of controls that you would have from a data security perspective in Microsoft Purview, or like I mentioned with Entra, Defender, and all of the different exposure management controls, et cetera, are there. So the nice thing with having the ability to give agents just the right amount of access or least privilege is that you can give them the right tasks. They can perform the jobs and the discrete different things you want them to. And they can also, if they need more access to information to do a job better, you can obviously elevate their controls to maybe access another SharePoint site. All of that is controllable through the kind of the agent sponsor, the maker. And it's also something that's controllable from an IT perspective end to end. And you have the complete observability, visibility as to what they're doing, what the agents can access, and that's really what the control plane's all about. Using all the different products, Purview, Defender, Entra together. So it's not really another thing like Entra. It's all the things, including Entra, to manage your agents, again, like you're managing people.
Yeah, now you're already going in this direction for my next question, Jeremy, but what does this look like for an admin then? I think you may have something to show me, which would be even better too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk you through how admins can go into the M365 Admin Center, where they go today to manage their users and devices, and get a full picture of all aspects of their agents. Let me show you how this would look like in the M365
Let's
Admin
go.
Center.
We love a
Let's go
demo.
there.
We love a demo.
Yep.
So here you are in the M365 Admin Center. You'll see the agent overview page. It allows you to get a full sense of all agents that are running in your organization. We call this the agent registry. It's powered by the Entra.
There you go,
Entra registry, yes. And the cool part about this is that you now have the ability to really understand who's built the agents, what publishers have built these, what platforms are they built on, and you can see all your familiar ones, the Copilot Studio, Microsoft Foundry, and even some of the third-party external ones like Manus or ServiceNow or from Google. The nice thing about the overview page is that it allows you to see a lot of the key metrics about usage, about your impact to your environment, and top actions. So you can have one place to see all the information that you need. But let me help you see what's in the inventory and the registry.
Let's see. You've got a lot of agents there, I've noticed.
Yes.
There are quite a few.
126,000 already there.
Yes, people are busy building these agents, and I'm so glad that I have all the right visibility right from here. The key things I'd like to show you is when you are in the inventory, in the registry, you would be able to see agents that are built not just on the Microsoft platforms, but also on things like ServiceNow, Manus, Workday, and you're able to see a lot of the key metrics that are coming from different subsystems. Like if the Microsoft security products detect a risk, that we'd be able to show it to you from here. Things like agent health, like if the agents are running into exceptions, we'd show it to you here. And just the ability to see activity and social sessions and just a full perspective on all agents. And then you can drill into aspects that allow you to understand what's going on. One of my favorite things is to just kind of go into an agent and just see what data and tools it has access to, what security and compliance is already available for it, as well as what permissions is available. This information is typically very scattered, but we've brought it all together in one place so that an admin can have that full 360 view. And the most fun thing is to see the activity right here.
Yeah, Shilpi, I was just about to say, actually, that's because normally you would have to jump around before there's lots of places to work out all of this, and you'd have to aggregate it manually, right?
Yes.
Right, and you think about it, like these are the most important aspects because you're going to see what MCP servers they're connecting to, what privileges they have on different Microsoft 365 stored resources, SharePoint sites, etc. And so if you're evaluating an agent, whether it's running or requested, you will know what privileges that agent has, so you can say, yes, I like this, or no, reach out to the maker and say, can you tone down the permissions a little bit, then I will let that work, because that way you've got full control again.
Yeah, now you talked about control, which was, again, leading on. It's like you've seen these questions before, Jeremy. So leading on from that, talking about controls, I always think of controls as security, but I know they are more than that. What controls, how does the control aspect work in the admin center? Because I'm sure there are things we can do there too.
Yeah, I think first task most important for an IT admin is making sure the right agents are published, and that before published there are the right controls and policies that are applied to it. So let me walk you through what a request flow would look like for an admin. Any developer in your organization publishing an agent would come to you for approval, and so let me walk you through what it would look like if it came to you for an approval. Here, 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗃 has made a request. I see that request here in my queue, but before I publish that, I'm going to quickly review all aspects about the agent in terms of which platform it was built on, again, what data and tools it has access to. I can look and see what knowledge sources it's going to be accessing, what security and compliance protections are already available for it, and most importantly, what permissions. This is the main thing. Most developers, they'll set up their agents with the right set of permissions, they think, but an IT admin will have the right controls to be able to review those permissions and adjust them as needed. But if I went into this and reviewed and tried to publish this agent, I have more controls here. I can apply policies. That is where Agent 365 makes it really scalable for an IT admin to really apply the policies that will govern and control these. And so I'm not just controlling who gets access to it, but also applying policy templates. We have some that we'll be shipping out of default, out of box for you as default, but you can customize these templates. And in this case, these templates allow you to govern not just which policies, but even simple things like can this agent access an external website? And all of those policies are set up in a way that you can review them. And then once you're happy with it, you can go ahead and accept the permissions, and voila, your agent is ready to be published with the right governance controls on it.
We'd love some governance controls. Now, we already saw that there's a lot of agents in this tenant you've got here, but how, obviously, there's lots of agents. Agents have lots of relationships with each other because many of them are working together on different flows. So can Admin Center help with understanding what's going on there?
Oh, yes. With the agent sprawl, one of the biggest things we're trying to help you with is actually see the connections between the agents. We have a really beautiful view here we've created for you so that you can see all the agents. They're clustered by their, like in this case, by the platforms they're built in. And we draw out enough visual indicators for you when there's an alert for any certain agent. So here, for example, I can come in and see there is an agent here that I can see is experiencing a lot of exception rates. And I can come in and evaluate that. Which other agents is it talking to? I can look at that. Oh yeah, I see there's a lot of exceptions growing. And I know who the developer for this agent is, and I can contact them to get the right actions taken on these.
Is that Seth's agent?
Yes.
Yes. I was gonna say, when you say exceptions, what could that be? Just so we're clear. I know exceptions could be a lot of different things.
Generally, error rates on, or when an agent needs possibly a human interaction needed to be able to make progress, we're going to be able to call out those so that there's visibility on those interactions.
Yeah, and we can definitely ask Seth about that specific agent, because I'm sure it is Seth's.
Yeah, it was actually. His name was actually on the screen.
This, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is it? You can see that. Like my screen is a little bit too far back there, and I can't see the name.
If you squint a little more, you'll see it.
Squint a little bit more.
Yeah, so that's the important bit. So you've got full visibility control over all the agents. Just to go back to the interop topic, they have access, to the apps as well as I mentioned email accounts and those things. But Word, Excel, PowerPoint, the things that you interact with whilst using SharePoint, those are all things that the agents will be able to basically use themselves independently and autonomously of the person that commissions the agent. So that's the other nice thing. So then you've got the full visibility of every activity and action here, and we didn't go into the other portals, but if you go into Purview and the audit controls there, it's going to all be there. Of course, it sounds like you know Entra really well, but going into the sign-in logs and all of those things, you will see all of the resource requests that an agent's making. So it's all something that in the respective location and portal and admin center that you use, you'll be able to monitor and see those activities as you would other objects in your directory.
Yeah, sounds like going to make admins' lives a lot easier with not having to go around to those different sources.
Not having to go to different new tools and learn new tools that maybe might not have the fidelity of those ones that you're using every day now.
Exactly.
And we're bringing a lot of that into the M365 Admin Center as well, because if you see here, there are agent risks that are showing up right here within the M365 Admin Center. So instead of having to go to one of these other admin portals, you can come in here, look at the risk, assess the risk, and even take a block action on the agent right away. Nice. And then you can work with your SecOps team to go and do further investigation.
Exactly, because traditionally an admin probably doesn't have access to all the security tools if we're doing principle of least privilege, zero trust, etc.
Correct. They should all have their own kind of lanes that they're operating in. Exactly.
Exactly. So if an admin is tuning in and they want to get started with this, what's the best way for them to get going if they're like, I need this now?
Okay, so we've got a lot of resources now that we've published literally this week. I believe I set the AKA link at aka.ms/ignite-frontier.
Yes, that is the aka.ms link, and it's probably on
I wasn't
the
sure if I was going to flip the frontier and the Ignite part. That's why I got it right at a 50-50
My blue card says it's aka.ms/ignite-frontier.
Yeah, so make sure that's all enabled. That way you'll get to the earlier experiences for Frontier firms, the first-party agents, the stuff that we're seeing here with Agent 365. All of that is going to be part of being in that program and being enabled in your tenant. So I would encourage everyone to make sure that's on and go check for it. It's in the Copilot controls under settings, and you can make sure it's turned on.
Cool. And is there, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite bit? If an admin was wanting, what's the first thing they should go and look at? Because it looks like it's amalgamating so much information. If someone goes and turns this on and they have 126,000 agents in their environment, what would be the thing maybe they should go and look at first to get a good lay of the land?
It's the registry.
Just the registry.
The registry. That's your full list of every single agent that you have in your environment, and it will grow. It will change. The agents will maybe have potentially, if users are giving them more permissions, et cetera. It's not just a static one list kind of project thing. You've got to go back to it, make sure everything is under control, the right policies are in place, like you would with your directory services, like you would with your purview policies, et cetera. It's one of those things, and the nice thing is it integrates with all the same group management and group controls you have in Entra in all these different places, to where you can scope in your agents like you're scoping in other directory object types.
Yeah. Well, it sounds, Jeremy and Shilpi, like the agent admin M365 admins will be having a fantastic week going to have a look at this. Yep. super exciting. So you can go look at the aka.ms link, which is aka.ms/ignite_frontier. And we will have to leave it there for time, but thanks for joining me. And
Thanks for having us.
admins, go look at this.
Thank you.